Good afternoon, children. It's lovely to be able to read you a story today. It's Mrs. Case here. Today I'm going to read Nat Fantastic, and it's by Giles Andrea and Catherine McEwen. This is Nat. His mummy's about to read him a story. Nat loves nothing more than being read to at bedtime, for reasons which will soon become clear. "Hello, darling," said his mummy. "What story shall we have tonight, then?" "Let's have this," said Nat, picking one of his all-time favourites. He cuddled up to his mummy and she began to read. "Oh goodness," said Nat's mummy after a little while. "I think I've left the carrots on. I'll just pop downstairs and turn them off. I won't be long." As soon as she went out of his bedroom, Nat's nose began to tingle. The tingle grew tinglier and tinglier until... Achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze. Flash, bang, kaboom! Nat Fantastic's in the room. It was true. The sneeze had changed Nat into a miniature superhero. Suddenly, Nat felt himself whizzing through the air at 1,000,000 miles an hour in his silver pyjamas. Then splash! He landed in the middle of a rushing river in Africa. He was very lucky that he landed in that particular river because, as soon as he looked around, he spotted a boat full of little girls with a huge crocodile heading towards them, greedily licking his lips. Straight away, Nat Fantastic grabbed the crocodile's tummy. He wrestled and rolled and rumbled with it for ages, splashing around like mad until biff! Bonk! Finally the crocodile gave up. "You're just too strong for me, Nat Fantastic," it said, and it swam back exhausted to the riverbank. "You're amazing, Nat Fantastic," the girls all said. "You saved our lives," and they cuddled and kissed him for ages, which Nat quite liked. Suddenly, Nat felt his nose began to tingle again. It got tinglier and tinglier until... Achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze, and he was back in bed. At that very moment, Nat's mummy came into the room. "Sorry, darling," she said. "Now where were we?" She picked up the book again and began to read. After a little while more, the telephone started to ring. "Ring, ring, ring, ring." "Oh, do you mind if I answer that, sweetheart?" said Mummy. "I'll be back in just a second." Immediately, Nat's nose began to tingle, and the tingle grew tinglier and tinglier until... Achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze. Flash, bang, wallop, kaboom! Nat Fantastic's in the room. Suddenly, Nat felt himself whizzing through the air at 1,000,000 miles an hour in his amazing silver-striped pyjamas. Then bump! He landed in the middle of an old lady's garden. He was very lucky that he landed in that particular garden because that old lady had just been struck by a bolt of lightning and it was quickly falling down. "Help! Help!" shrieked the old lady. Straight away, Nat Fantastic got an enormous ladder and climbed up on it with a huge box of tools. He nailed and glued, he hammered and sawed and fixed and screwed the whole house back together again. When Nat got back to the ground, the old lady gave him a huge kiss, which Nat was quite keen on, and with an enormous bag of sweets, which he seemed very keen on indeed. Suddenly, Nat felt his nose began to tingle again. It got tinglier and tinglier until... Achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze, and he was back in bed. At that moment, Nat's mummy came into the room. "Sorry, darling," she said. "Now where were we?" She picked up the book again and began to read. After a little while longer, the doorbell rang. "Buzz, buzz." "Oh, sweetheart, I'd better go and see who that is," said Nat's mummy. "I really won't be a moment." Immediately, Nat's nose began to tingle. The tingle grew tinglier and tinglier until... Achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze. Flash, bang, whiz, kaboom! Nat Fantastic's in the room. Suddenly, Nat felt himself whizzing through the air at 1,000,000 miles an hour in his amazing silver pyjamas. Then bounce, he landed right outside a huge building. It was very lucky that he landed right outside that building because it happened to be the bank. And the naughty robbers were running away with huge sacks of money. "Stop thief! Stop thief!" the bank manager was shouting. Straight away, Nat Fantastic raced after the bank robbers. They were very fast runners, but Nat Fantastic was even faster. He soon caught up with them and wrestled them to the ground. In no time at all, Nat Fantastic had them tied up with a big rope and he handed the huge sacks of money back to the bank manager. The bank manager was so pleased indeed, and he gave Nat one of his sacks of money to say thank you very much. Suddenly Nat felt his nose began to tingle again. It got tinglier and tinglier until, achoo! Nat sneezed an almighty sneeze, and he was back in bed. At that very moment, Nat's mummy came into the bedroom. "Sorry, darling," she said. "Now where were we?" She picked up the book again and began to read. This time Nat's mummy read right to the end of the book. She tucked Nat into his bed and gave him a huge kiss and a big hug. "I love you, sweetheart," she said, and she tiptoed softly out of the bedroom. Nat smiled and laid his head down on the pillow. But guess what? Just as Nat was beginning to drift off to sleep, he felt his nose began to tingle. "Oh no, Nat, don't sneeze, Nat. Not now, Nat. Don't sneeze now. Achoo!" And there was Nat at the end of the book. Thank you very much for listening.